Hey guys, today we are going over this study guide for Module 13, the module that involves all the area and all that fun stuff. So if you have not done this study guide yet, please make sure to do the study guide. Okay, that's number one priority, do the study guide, and then kind of check your work with me going over it, okay? So number one, what is the area of a rectangle with a length of 12 inches and a width of 2 inches? So remember, for area of a rectangle, we have length times width. So what we're going to do is we're going to plug in our numbers. The length is going to be 12. The width is going to be 2. And then 12 times 2 is going to be 24. And then we're going to go back and look at our units, which is inches. And it's going to be squared. Okay? So our answer right there should be B. Next one, parallelogram. The area of a parallelogram is base times height. Okay, so for a parallelogram, it's base times height. Remember, height always stands straight up. It doesn't slant to the side, so it always stands straight up. So we're going to use the 6.5 and the 12 here. Area equals 12 times 6.5. 12 times 6.5. With this unit, remember, you can use your calculator, okay, as long as you show your work and are writing the lines like you're supposed to here. But I've got 12 times 6.5, and that gives me 78. So my answer is going to be B, 78 meters squared. All right, let's go to number 3. Find the area of the triangle in the figure below. So the area of a triangle, I've got area equals base, or sorry, 1/2 times base times height. Okay, 1/2 times base times height. So when I plug in that, I've got area equals 1/2 times the base, which is 6, times the height, which is 18. Half of 6 is going to be 3 times 18. And just to make sure I don't make a math mistake here, that's going to be 54. And then millimeters squared is my unit right there. So I've got B, 54. All right, back to rectangle. So the area of a rectangle is length times width. So a rectangle has a length of 17.5 centimeters and a width of 23.9. So area equals 17.5 times 23.9. And then I enter in my calculator 17.5 times 23.9, and I get 418 and 25 hundredths. So my answer on this one's going to be C. Area equals 418.25 centimeters squared. All right. Now let's move on to number 5. Number 5. Let's see. What is the area of a triangle which base is 6 inches and height is 2.5? So remember, our area for a triangle is area equals 1/2 times base times height. So 1/2 times 6 times 2.5. So what I have there is half of 6. Area equals 3 times 2.5. And that should be 7.5. That's going to be inches squared. So that's going to be B. All right, now lastly, we have a complex shape on number 6 right here. So I'm going to have to break this shape down into 2 and figure out my area using the 2 things. Well, I'm going to probably cut it right about here. And what that gives me is a 5x2 rectangle. So rectangle 1, rectangle 2, I'm going to draw them. So 1 is going to look like that, and 2 is going to look like that. So for rectangle 1, I've got 5 inches, and I have 2 inches. Rectangle 2, I've got 4 and 6. So 4, 6. All right, so I'm going to have to find the area of those two and add them together. So for both of these, the formula is area equals length times width. Area equals length times width. Area equals 2 times 5, which is 10. And then I've got 4 times 6 over here. Remember, you're multiplying, so it really doesn't matter which order that goes in. 4 times 6 is going to be 24 inches squared. And then I've got to add 24 and 10 together to get area equals 34 inches squared, which is A. All right, so that's going to be page 1. Let's go ahead to page 2. What is the area of the trapezoid? So a trapezoid, we look at B1, B2, and the height, okay? So the base 1, base 2, and the height. Now on this one, it's like the trapezoid's laying down taking a nap. So if it helps, you can rotate your paper and look like that, but we can still do it from this vantage point. So our formula for a trapezoid is going to be area equals 1/2 times the height. Then in parentheses, I've got B1 plus B2. So area equals 1/2 times 17. And in parentheses, I've got 16 plus 21. All right. And then I'll do that first, 16 plus 21 to get 37. And then I'll put in my calculator later, 0.5 times 17 times 37. And I'm going to get 314.5. So 314.5, and it's going to be centimeters squared. All right, so your answer on that one is C. C. What is the area of the polygon? All right, so on this one, I've got a polygon, like we said, or it's going to be a complex shape. Okay, we're going to have another complex shape. So with this complex shape, what I can do is I can go in and divide it, making it almost like a house. So my two shapes are a triangle and then a rectangle. Okay, make sure you do draw these shapes, that way you can label them easier. And if you put them in two separate columns like this, it just makes things easier. Okay, so let's start with the rectangle because the rectangle is 17 by 11. Okay, that one's the easy one. Now the triangle, we're gonna have to do some manipulation here. I know my base of the triangle is gonna be 17 because it's the same as down here, and these two right angles tell me that. So I know my base is 17, but my height, okay, from here to here, it's 23. But from here to here is 11. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to type 23 minus 11 into my calculator. I don't know why I need to do that, but I'm going to get the height of the triangle, which is 12, because 12 plus 11 equals 23. So I'm going to write that right there. Okay, now I've got to find the area of both shapes and add them together. So for triangle, area equals 1/2 times base times height. So area equals 1/2 times 17 times 12. So when I work that out, I've got 0.5 times 17 times 12, and that gives me 102. And then over here in the rectangle, I've got length times width. Area equals 17 times 11. Remember, it doesn't matter which order those go in. And then 17 times 11 is going to be 187. So 187 plus what I got over here, 102, is going to equal 289. So area equals 289 meters squared, and that is C. All right, so we're back to the more simple shapes. Here we have a parallelogram. Okay, the parallelogram is going to be base times height, so area equals base times height. Area equals 9, because that base is going to equal this base, so 9 times 18. All right, and 9 times 18 is going to be 162. Okay, so 162 in your yards squared. So A is our answer on this one. Find the area of the trapezoid. Trapezoid. So remember our formula for trapezoid was area equals 1/2 times height. And then in parentheses I had B1 plus B2. So area equals 1/2 times 7. And then we've got in parentheses 2.8 plus 8.4. 2.8 plus 8.4. Okay, so PEMDAS tells us we do that first in the parentheses. 2.8 plus 8.4. I get 11.2. So I've got area equals 1/2 times 7 times 11.2. So I can work that out. 0.5 times 7 times 11.2. And that gives me 39.2. And then we're going meters squared, which your answer is going to be B. All right, find the area of the figure. The area down here, once again, is two shapes. The shapes are relatively easy to see in this one. I've got a rectangle and I've got a triangle. I don't know why I drew a square, but now there's my triangle. Okay, so the rectangle, area equals length times width. And in the triangle, area equals 1/2 times base times height. So length times width first, I've got 5 and 6. So 5 times 6, area equals 30 centimeters squared. And in the triangle, I've got area equals 1/2 times the base. The base is going to be 5. The height is going to be 8. Okay, so I've got 0.5 times 5 times 8, and that gives me 20 centimeters squared. So 30 plus 20 centimeters squared is going to be 50 centimeters squared. All right. On to the next page, I have another area of a complex shape. Okay, the area of a complex shape. So I'm going to draw my two shapes. Shape 1, have a rectangle, and then shape 2, I have a triangle. So my formula for the rectangle is going to be length times width. Formula for the triangle is going to be area equals 1/2 times base times height. So we look at this. So my line stops right here. Okay. On both of these, my height is 12. That's easy. On the rectangle, my base is going to be 22 feet. But the whole line down here is 28 feet. So what I'm going to have to do is 28 minus 22, which is going to give me 6 feet. Okay. And that's going to be the base of the triangle. So length times width first, area equals 22 times 12. 22 times 12 is going to equal 34. And then we are in feet squared, 34 feet squared. Yeah, that's not right because I done 22 plus 12. 22 times 12 is 264. There we go. I was like, whoa, wait a minute, that's not right. So 264 feet squared. And then area equals 1/2 times base times height. So area equals 1/2 times the base, which is 6, times the height, which is 12. So half of 6, area equals 3 times 12. And then 3 times 12 is going to be 36. So feet squared. So then I take 264 and 36, sorry, add those together, I get 300 feet squared. So the answer is D. All right, so we're going to find the area of this little polygon again. So I'm going to draw my shapes first. We'll cut it right there. Both these, I like them because both are length times width. First box, the length is going to be, we'll go with 15 and 9. And then the second box, we've got 10 and 6. So area equals 15 times 9. And I've got 135. And 10 times 6, that's going to be 60. So when I add those together, 135 plus 60, I get 195. So area equals 195 feet squared. So the answer is D. Tina wants to install a hot tub in her backyard. The backyard is 25 feet by 30 feet, and the hot tub will be 8 feet by 8 feet. What is the area of the backyard that will not be covered by the hot tub? So I've got to find the area of the backyard first, and then the area of the hot tub. So the backyard, when you're working a problem like this, it's good to label everything, okay? Backyard, the big shape, it's square, so it's going to be 25 by 30, or sorry, it's not square, it's rectangle. So 25 by 30. Okay, so I've got area equals length times width. Area equals 25 times 30. Area equals 25 times 30 is going to be 50. That's plus again. 25 times 30. There we go. It's 750. Okay, now the hot tub. The hot tub's 8 by 8, so length times width. 8 by 8, so 8 times 8 is going to be 64. And I need to know how much is left. So that's one of our key words when we see how much is left or how many, something like that, you're going to subtract. So what I'm going to do is 750 minus 64, and that gives me 686 feet squared. So C is going to be my answer on that one. All right. What is the area of the triangle below? So for a triangle, as always, I've got area equals 1/2 times base times height. So area equals 1/2 times 3.5 is my base times 9.75 is my height. And yeah, I will be putting that into the calculator for sure. So 0.5 times 3.5 times 9.75. I get 17.0625. Okay, and that's going to be centimeters squared. So my answer is going to be A. And lastly, at the bottom, we have yet another trapezoid. So I've got 1/2 times the height, and then in parentheses, I've got B1 plus B2. All right, so I'm just going to fill in my information. Area equals 1/2 times the height, which is 17. And in parentheses, I've got 8 plus 12. All right. So area equals 1/2 times 17 times 8 plus 12, which is going to be 20. And then I'm going to put that one in the calculator. So 0.5 times 17 times 20 to give me 170. 170. So my answer is C. All right, so that is the second page. Let's go ahead and move on to the third page. All right, and I think this is the last page if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it is. So we have a rhombus. We have not found a rhombus yet on the study guide. So the formula for a rhombus is area equals 1/2 times diameter 1 times diameter 2. So area equals 1/2 times D1. It's just either one of these numbers. It's multiplication. So commutative property tells me it doesn't multiply or doesn't matter. I can write in any one I want. So area equals 1/2 of 18, which is 9 times 22. And then 9 times 22, that's 32, equals 198. Then I've got centimeters squared. So 198. All right, so 18, what is the area of the trapezoid? Trapezoid area equals 1/2 times height, and then parentheses b1 plus b2. So area equals 1/2 times 7, 9 plus 12 inside the parentheses. PEMDAS order of operations gives me 9 plus 12 first. 9 plus 12 is going to be 21. And then I've got area equals half of 7 and 21. I don't know why I just wrote that again, but here we go. 0.5 times 7 times 21. 73.5 yards squared. All right. Now this little spatula thing down here, I'm going to have to break it apart again into two shapes. So I've got a square, that's 8 meters, and then I've got a rectangle, that's 6 by 2. Okay, 6 by 2. So the square area equals 8, or sorry, length times width first, then area equals my length times width, which are both 8. 8 times 8 is going to be 64. And then area equals length times width over here, 6 times 2, which is 12 meters squared. So I've got 64 plus 12 meters squared. So 64 plus 12 is going to be 76 meters squared. That's going to be my area. All right, find the area of the polygon below by dividing it into two rectangles using one vertical line. Show your work. All right, so it wants a vertical line on this one. So I'm going to use that line right there. That gives me a shape that looks like this and shape that looks like that. Okay. So on the top, I've got 2.5, and this length right here is 3.5. This one's kind of not to scale, but it's okay. And on the bottom, my whole shape is 6 centimeters, but I need to take away the 2.5 I've already used. So 6 minus 2.5 is going to give me 3.5 centimeters again. And then on the side over here, it I have 3.5 right here, but I subtract 2.5, which I've already used in this block. So that's going to give me 1. Okay, 3.5 minus 2.5 is 1. So length times width. Length times width again. So I've got 3.5 times 2.5. It is 10 o'clock on it's 9:30 on a Sunday night. So I'm going to use my calculator on that. And that's 8.75. And then I've got 1 and 3.5 over here. So that's area equals 1 times 3.5, which is going to be 3.5 centimeters squared. Okay, 3.5 centimeters squared. So then I take 3.5 and add it to 8.75, and that gives me 12.25 centimeters squared. All right. So now I've got the last three problems, 21, 22, 23, and 24. Mark has a kite shaped like a rhombus. The two diagonals measure 16 inches and 5 inches. What is the area of Mark's kite? So we'll work that one. Let's go up here and work this one. Area equals 1/2 times D1 times D2. So area equals 1/2 times 16 and 5. So area equals half of 16, which is 8. Okay, and then 8 times 5 is going to be 40, and then we've got inches squared. So 40 inches squared. The Weston Highway Department built a triangular traffic island on the expressway. The base of the island is 2.5 feet long and the area is 14.5 square feet. What is the height of the traffic island? So this is one where we're missing some information here, okay? We're going to have to write our formula first. So for 22, A equals, it's a triangle, so 1/2 times base times height, okay? So then I just fill in my information. The area is 14.5, and that equals 1/2 times the base, and then we don't have the height, so we've got h, okay? So the way I answer that is I combine my terms right here with 1/2 and 2.5. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. 2.5 times 0.5 is going to give me 1.25. So that's 14.5 equals 1.25 times h. Okay, 1.25 times h. So to get rid of that, remember I divide by 1.25. So 14.5 divided by 1.25 equals 11.6. Remember I divide. 11.6 equals the height. Okay, so the height is going to be 11.6 feet. That one's rough, but it's okay. A park is shaped like a trapezoid. It has an area of 3.9 square miles. One base is 2.5 miles, and the other base is 4 miles long. What is the height of the trapezoid? Okay. Sorry, I kept pressing buttons on my microphone and I could not figure out what was happening right there, but my leg was hitting it. So hopefully this video still works. So a park is shaped like a trapezoid. It has an area of 3.9 square miles. One base is 2.5 miles, and the other is going to be 4 miles long. So let's go ahead and answer that, okay? So my formula for a trapezoid is A equals 1/2 times the height times B1 plus B2. So let's fill in the information. I've got an area of 3.9. One base is 2.5, so I've got that. I don't have the height, but for base 1, I've got 2.5, and base 2 is 4. Okay, so that allows me to calculate this. 3.9 equals 1/2 times the height times 2.5 plus 4. 2.5 plus 4 is going to be 6.5. So I'm going to combine 1/2 and 6.5. So 0.5 times 6.5 gives me 3.25. So I've got 3.9 equals h times 3.25. Okay. So after I do that, I divide by 3.25, divide by 3.25, and 3.9 divided by 3.25 equals 1.2. So for 23, your answer is going to be 1.2 miles. That was a difficult one. Well, I put my work on the paper so you could see it, but you know, I covered it up. The last one up. 24, finally, the last and final one. A section of stained glass window is shaped like a right triangle. The section has a height of 8.5. If the area of the section of glass is 59.5 centimeters, how long is the base? So, anytime I work a triangle, I've got area equals 1/2 times the base times the height. Okay, so I fill in my information. I've got the area, which is 59.5. 1/2 always stays the same. I don't have the base, but I do have the height. Okay. So now I combine 1/2 and 8.5. So I've got 59.5 equals B times 0.5 times 8.5. And that gives me 4.25. Okay. So now I've got to divide by 4.25 to get the B isolated. So that gives me 59.5 divided by 4.25. And when I do that, I get 14. So 14 equals B. All right. And that's going to be centimeters. So 14 centimeters. And there's the work on that one. All right. So those last four are a little difficult. Okay. The rest of them pretty forward, self-explanatory. Make sure you show your work, guys. Make sure you organize, label, all of that fun stuff. Okay. If you have any questions, please ask your teacher, and I guess I will either see you in class tomorrow or talk to you later.